Hello Gemini, welcome to my channel. This is the eternal city of obsidian. Hi guys, my name is TESA TABOO. Oopsies, I'm making noises, and this is TESA's Tarot. Soon probably to be switched to TESA TABOO, because that's what it says on my banner. But yeah, welcome to my world. I find it really interesting that the zodiac sign reading I did right before you guys was Capricorn. And while I was shuffling the cards for Capricorn, I kept thinking Gemini kept coming into my head. And I was like, well, maybe there's a Gemini in this Capricorn's life that is very significant. So I don't know. I wonder if there is a significant Capricorn in your life. But while I was shuffling your guys' cards, I was thinking Virgo. So that's really interesting. I wonder if the next card, the next zodiac sign I'm going to do tonight is going to be Virgo. But anyway, hi, how's it going? I do have some things to say before I get started on your reading. There's a lot of very, very interesting, I don't even think interesting is the right word to explain what is happening as we wrap up 2020 and before we enter 2021. We did have a partial lunar eclipse in Gemini at the beginning of Sagittarius season. But there's some more things happening in Sagittarius season. On Monday, we have the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And then Chiron goes direct in Aries on the 16th, I believe. Chiron has been a son of a bitch, okay? I have a very prominent Chiron in my birth chart. My Chiron is actually part of a yod, which is also called the finger of God, which I will explain a little bit more in another video I'm going to do. So if you are interested in getting to know me a little bit better and kind of getting like a little preview of how I will be doing birth chart readings and tarot readings in the future for you guys, definitely watch the video that I'm going to be posting on my channel in the near future, hopefully before the year is over. It's gonna be a little bit of like a chit chat, get to know me. I'm gonna kind of like dive in a little bit into who I am using astrology and my experiences, things that I've experienced this year alone, because I know we've all had an interesting year, and I'm hoping that it can help somebody, you know. And you know, I have some very intense chart placements, so I'm hoping maybe I can like help people out who might have some of those same placements in their chart, because I want to do more videos in reference to astrology and also tie astrology into tarot and oracle readings, because they do go hand in hand. Tarot, there's a formula to tarot, believe it or not. You know, as I do my readings on the channel, I don't go into the specific details, but every single tarot card has so many layers and so many dimensions to it. Oh my gosh. And it is very much tied to like a natal chart. It's tied to astrology. So, and you know, one of the things I want to do is provide natal chart readings, analysis, like in-depth natal chart readings, where I really, you know, I'll talk about past lives, I'll talk about the moon phase that occurred when you were born. I'll really bring up unique things that I see in your chart that I think are really significant. whether you have a stellium, whether you have a yod, your, you know, things that you will want to know, things you'll want to know. And I would incorporate tarot readings into it. And I plan on doing this over video. So I would record a video. It would probably be at least an hour long. And I will just send you a private link, okay? It would be a private link so only you can see it. So this is definitely my plan, okay, for this channel. I really want to get more personal with you guys. I want to get to know you guys, and I want you guys to get to know yourselves. I mean, we're all on this journey here on Earth, getting to know ourselves, and you know, part of the reason why I want to do that whole chit chat, get to know me better video is because I really feel like astrology has allowed me to get to know myself on an intimate level. And I am so thankful for it because holy cow, like once I learned more about my astrology and my planetary placements, things just started to make sense. Like some of the more traumatic things that I've experienced in my life. The fact that my Chiron is extremely prevalent in my chart. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. He is a comet. He's not a planet, but he is a comet that orbits the sun right in between Saturn and Uranus, okay? And he is that deep childhood wound that like that gets triggered throughout your life, sometimes when you least expect it, and you have to work through it. You know, it's a very deep wound. So you know, and that, you know, I'm a Sagittarius, but the last couple of weeks in Sagittarius season, like, I've really been I've really been learning a lot of lessons these last couple of weeks about that inner child, you know, and some of those deeper wounds that I was, you know, given here on Earth. So yeah, I definitely so yeah, astrology has been really big for me, but I'm gonna save that for the other video, so stay tuned for that. Let's see, Gemini. Okay, so more information about this month. Okay, so Chiron is going direct on the 16th. And then we have the great Jupiter and Saturn conjunction in Aquarius happening December 21st. Jupiter individually is moving into Aquarius a couple days earlier, and Saturn is also moving into Aquarius a couple days earlier, but they are going conjunct on the 21st. So this is huge, okay? The Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is like the biggest thing that can happen in our cosmic realm, where Earth is greatly affected. You know, I don't think a lot of people really, you know, look at pictures of our solar system in everyday life. You know, I mean, we're very much focused on things that are going on Earth, and that's totally understandable. I mean, I get it. But I think people forget how small Earth actually is compared to the bigger planets in our solar system. And I think people forget how the energy of those planets affect us. You know, it's a vibration. It pumps out energy and vibrations, and the things that are happening in our universe and in our cosmic world have a great effect on us. Okay, so of course, with that being said, okay, we're not going to get into the history of astrology, but it's all significant. Okay, this is what the ancients studied. Like, this was their science, myth and astrology, and you know, the constellations, and really kind of allowing the energy of the stars and of outer space to affect us, affect our consciousness. I mean, we are part of that consciousness. We are forged by the universe, okay? So the fact that we can even imagine these things and think up these things like constellations is significant for our survival. Okay, it's a significant part of our journey here on Earth. Okay, I can get into my beliefs and like what I really think about all this in depth, but I'm not going to do that over here because this is your reading for mid-December. Okay, and there's other things that I want to talk about. So okay, so bringing the story a little bit more into confinement. So basically for the last 200 years, the Great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which takes place every 20 years, has been in Earth signs, okay? So we've been very much focused on Earth type of energies. And on December 21st, they are officially moving into air signs. So for the next 200 years, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions will be only in air signs, okay? Some astrologers are saying that this is the kicking off point for the age of Aquarius. Others are saying, no, not really. The actual age of Aquarius isn't really going to kick in for another couple hundred years. So I'm just here to say what's going on. You know, we're not going to talk about the ages, so to speak, but it is very, very significant in the sense that we are moving from a more earth frame of mind into a more air dynamic, okay? So it's going into Aquarius. So yeah, a lot of really interesting things up ahead. There's going to be a lot of restructuring of reality and restructuring of our value system, and that is another big lesson that I think as a collective we need to take away this year, okay? And the fact that Uranus is in Taurus is also highly, highly significant. Uranus is the planet of revolution. It is ruled by Aquarius. It is the planet of humanity, of restructuring, of progressive thinking, of future-oriented thinking, very mental, very intellectual, a very intelligent planet. And with it being in Taurus, it's really going to be about really understanding, like restructuring your value system, okay? Redefining what it is that you value. And I think that is so, so important. And it's crazy because this is a lesson that I learned so the Taurus being in Uranus is significant. Yes, it's a very significant energy that's taking place universally. But for me, on a personal level, I kind of discovered this lesson through my Chiron, okay? Because my Chiron is in Taurus. And as I explained, the Chiron is the wounded. I didn't go too much into depth, but Chiron is the wounded healer. So he represents those deep childhood wounds that get triggered throughout your life that you have to kind of constantly work through and heal, okay? And my Chiron is in Taurus. So like my value system is a little like, it's wounded because, you know, well, I can tell you my whole life story, but basically I learned at a very young age that things can just kind of get taken away from you, that there's, you know, that nothing is permanent. So, you know, my lesson and what I've been learning is like that I really need to ground myself in what I value. Okay, I have no earth in my chart, by the way, but I need to ground myself in what I value. And that's when I realize that really is the big lesson, because even when I look on social media, I see people who are like, be grateful for what you have. People are really realizing as the year wraps up that they need to really ground themselves in what they value. So that's kind of the theme, more or less, for this video, okay? That's going to be the theme here, and you're going to really understand why when I start pulling these cards, okay? So I really want to, you know, kind of focus in on this whole idea of value. And, you know, usually when I pull out cards, I have 3 decks over here. I have the Vintage Wisdom Oracle, the Enchanted Map Oracle, and Influence of the Angels Tarot, okay? And typically when I do these readings, I pull out like a lot of cards, right? Like maybe like 10 or something like that. And there's like this whole story unfolding. But, you know, something that I've really discovered in these last couple of weeks is how much information one card has, okay? One card is literally filled with like insight and information, and we've been living in this like consumption, you know, with us being in that earth energy that I was talking about for the last 200 years. We've really been like, it's all about consumption, more material things. And that's why it's like we finally reached a point, earth is just like enough. Earth is like enough. The pandemic, just constantly consuming earth. Earth has had it with us. So the fact that we're moving into air, it's like, you know, it's time to wake up. So so one thing that I noticed is just kind of like, I kind of want to get back to the basics a little bit here, and just like, so I'm only going to pull one card from each pile, okay? And like, it's really going to be about rediscovering the deeper meanings that's happening, okay? The deeper meanings that's happening, and we are on this journey together. And I'm gonna do another video for January. You know what I mean? So like, the story is gonna keep unfolding, okay? There's a bigger story happening here. So whether it's like, you know, I can like feed you this whole story that'll take up like so much of your mind, and then you have to like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, but why do that when we can kind of like try to find the value again, you know, try to find the value again. See, I'm telling you, it all has a deeper meaning. For the first card, you have patience. These are things that we need to learn. There's so many things as humans that we need to learn. We've been so caught up in consumption. We've been so caught up in like consuming things and wanting information and like eating up information like it's just, you know, and things are gonna, when we enter air, when we do enter air, things are gonna speed up, but it's still gonna be really, really important to take the lesson that, and even though we weren't living 200 years ago, there's still a lesson, you know. We really pushed, we were alive during the time when consumption was pushed to the edge, because you know what, we're here in 2020, we're surviving 2020, and this is the earth telling us like stop, break, it's time for a break. And it has forced us to learn a lot of things, to slow down, to reevaluate our place on earth, to reevaluate our values. Okay, so there are lessons here, and it's like, learning to be patient with yourself so you can really take those lessons to heart, not just like, oh yeah, I learned that, what's next? You know what I mean? Like always wanting the next thing. Instead of always wanting the next thing, like really slowing down and reflect, and taking the time to reflect, and taking the time to really appreciate and understand your own value, your own system, and how you process things. Patience. Okay. So that's what that is. And I feel, Gemini, for you guys, this is a big lesson. Patience is a big lesson. Cause like I know you guys, like I know a lot of Geminis and I love Geminis because like they're so like easy to hang out with. Like you guys are very social, you're very just like you can pretty much like feed off of any conversation. And I love that. And I love that I can just be like honest and truthful with you guys and it doesn't even faze you. Like you'll just like bounce off of it. You know, you don't get offended. And you're like very fast thinkers. You're very intellectual. But this is probably one of the biggest lessons that you have to learn is patience, is to have patience, to rediscover your value system, you know, like okay, so from the Enchanted Map Oracle, we have solitude. See, I'm telling you, it's all significant. It's all significant to what it is that you truly need. And I really, really, truly think and believe that it's going to be very important for people to really reflect on this year. Before we go into 2021, it's going to be really important for everyone to reflect on 2020 and what it is they learned. Okay, solitude. Taking the time to be alone, to retreat from the world, to be by yourself. This is like equivalent to the Hermit card. Maybe that's why I was thinking Virgo when I was shuffling these cards. I kept thinking Virgo. And in tarot, Virgo rules the Hermit card in the Major Arcana. Okay, this is an oracle card, solitude, but a lot of the times oracle cards, they mirror tarot cards, okay? There's usually like an oracle card that you can equate to a specific tarot card, and for solitude, it's the Hermit. This is something, part of this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that's going to happen in Aquarius. It is going to be very much about progressive thinking, okay? But understand that it's still happening in Capricorn. Like, they are moving into Aquarius, but the sun is going to be in Capricorn. So it's still, even though Aquarius energy is about like the big, you know, ideas and humanitarian thinking and social justice and very intellectual and action oriented, it's with the sun in Capricorn, there's still going to be some restrictions. So even though this energy is going to take place, there's still needs to, things still need to work themselves out. Okay. I know some astrologers were saying that we're not really going to feel the Aquarius energy until we actually hit Aquarius season at the end of January. But I think what you're going to need to really focus on is like having patience with yourself. You know, the answers, like when you're sitting in solitude and maybe you're trying to figure something out. Maybe your mind is like working a million miles a minute, you know. It's hard for you to sit still. And like the things that you're thinking about, you're trying to kind of work them out. But I think the lesson that is going to be, that you're going to need to learn within that is to be patient with yourself, to be patient of a feeling of that need to like figure everything out right away. You know, you might feel this need to like you have to figure everything out right away. And I think you're going to need to learn to be more patient with yourself. Like, you can't have all the answers all at once. And that's another thing that is going to be important as far as grounding ourselves in our value system, because we really are going to enter, you know, a new age of air, and there's going to be information. Like, I mean, we've already been exposed to, like, we've already been consuming so much information, but part of the restructuring, part of the Uranus and Taurus transit is like restructuring the value of this information. It's looking at information and the intellect and putting value in it. Like knowing what to get rid of and what to hold on to, because a lot of the times we're consumed with information and it's just giving us stress and it's giving us anxiety, and it's like, why do we need to know all this stuff? Why do we think that we need to harbor so much information instead of just like finding the information and the things that we really value and just really going deep into that and grounding ourselves in that specific information or in that specific energy, instead of like being those like being like a cog in a machine where it's like we're just like information is in one ear, and then we always feel like we need to like be in the know and on top of everything, and like, but it's very filtered, it's very surface. We don't really, when we consume this stuff, are we really consuming it? Are we really allowing it to filter through our deeper, the aspect of ourselves that wants to put meaning to things? Like, I guess what I'm saying is all this stuff that we've been consuming, there's no meaning to it. What's the meaning of it? That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think anybody these days can really say like, well, what's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of this? Like, what does this mean to you? What does that mean to you? I don't know. Maybe I'll try making a video about what everything in my apartment means to me. Since I am going through this whole like period right now where I'm discovering the things that I value and the things that are kind of like, eh. So, yeah. All right, Gemini, last card, we have the Devil. This is Capricorn. So, you're going to be very, very tempted. I think that you're going to be tempted to consume, is what I wanted to say. Like, y'all, I feel, okay, so what initially came to my head is like, you guys are greedy for information. Okay, you want to like consume, I feel like you want to consume information. Because that's just how your mind works. But this Devil energy is kind of like, it's just, I feel like it's a warning. It's kind of like, be careful. I feel like this is a warning. Be careful of the information you consume, because the information that you consume is going to give you anxiety. It's going to give you stress if you're not careful. It's going to give you a lot of mental turmoil. And the fact that we are entering into air energy, it could become amplified for you guys. That energy of like mental activity, because you guys already have a lot of mental activity, it could just amplify. It could just go off. And I feel like I think that you might feel like it'll be easy for you to ride that wave. But there's also a sense of needing to like there's really a sense of needing to discover your value system, not to like not to get tricked by the devil. Okay, like, you know how they say the devil is in the details? So it's kind of like, don't get tricked by the information that you're consuming. Don't get tricked by it. Okay, I know that's kind of vague, but because with this card, I really feel like you guys are really going to be tempted to like ride off into the sunset with this new energy that's going to come our way. Ride off into the sunset with this new energy that's going to come your way. And I think that you just need to ground yourself, because this is Capricorn energy. I feel like it wants you to just like ground yourself. Don't just go like taking off in flight with all this like stuff that you're consuming in your head. Like be patient with yourself and let yourself come to terms with what you're consuming and understand it. Don't just take it at face value. Okay? Be skeptical. Very interesting reading, Gemini. Very interesting reading. But I'm going to cut it off here, okay? Hopefully, you stick around and watch my Get to Know Me video that I'll be doing hopefully soon. And yeah, stay tuned for more readings from yours truly. Good night.